It's so good to share this recipe with you today. Welcome to my channel. My name is Hope. If you're joining me for the first time, I say welcome. Thank you so much, all returning subscribers. I appreciate you all. After watching this video, I'm sure you will find more purpose for that corn that you have either in your pantry or that you see in the market stalls. Now let's get started. The ingredients I shall be using for this delicious corn recipe are coarse corn. You need to have your corn blended coarsely this way. You can also get the corn already processed this way from your regular supermarket or from a nearby Spanish store. My choice of protein for this recipe is dried herring fish. You need to debone it very, very well. This dried herring fish, it packs a lot of flavors in this recipe. You can use other dry fish, but I tell you, if you have access to dry herring fish, please go get it because it will do wonders to this recipe for you. You will need garlic, you need onion, you need red bell pepper chopped finely, and you also need green bell pepper. You also need coconut milk. This is a can of coconut milk and it does amazing wonder to the flavor of this recipe. Yes, you also need salt for seasoning. In a clean bowl with water, I add 1.5 cups of corn. I like to gradually add and stir. As I stir, if there is any chaff, because this is a natural product, if there's any chaff that remained at the processing of this corn, it could float, and then I will gradually decant the water, add fresh water, and let the corn soak for 15 to 20 minutes before using it. Into my clean pot already set on the stove, I add the coconut milk. I add the deboned herring fish. For the quantity of corn I am making, I added additional 1.5 cups of water to enable this corn cook very well and not to be too thick. In goes some seasoning powder, and then I gradually add the peppers, the garlic, the onion into the stock that I'm using for this recipe. I particularly love this corn recipe because it's made with the whole corn. Like the corn kernel, everything is processed. There is no fiber taken off. So, I like it because when I'm eating it, I know that part of what I'm taking in is good beneficial fibers. To the boiling pot, I add blended crayfish. This also adds a lot of flavors. At this time, I introduce the corn gradually. Note that this corn has been soaking for the past 20 minutes. You can also soak it up to an hour. Make sure you don't skip the soaking process, okay? It's important you soak the corn so that the texture will be good when you eat, when you bite into it. It won't be like chewing into stones, tiny stones. You know that this is dried corn. Once you finish adding the corn, bring the cooker to low and start stirring. Don't stop stirring. It's like when you're making pap, you stir continuously until you get a smooth, consistency. In the same way, when you're making this cornmeal, keep stirring. Don't get very far from your pot. Keep stirring and stirring and stirring. This is the only work you're doing for this recipe, right? It's practically like making pap. The more you stir, the smoother your end product will be. If you don't stir, you could have a burnt base and you could have lumps. And you want this meal to be very smooth and melt in the mouth type of good. So just keep stirring. After like 5 minutes of continuous stir, it's time to taste and see if the corn has cooked well. Yes, and then this way too, I corrected the seasoning, and this is already tasting so good. After correcting the seasoning, I stir a bit more for 1 additional minute, and it's time to add my green bell pepper. For best flavors, of course, add your bell peppers towards the end of your cooking. Bell pepper added, I stir to combine. Once combining is completed, I'll cover this pot to rest for 5 minutes before plating. Look at the consistency of this meal. Is it not giving? And not just that it's giving, this is a meal you will not be tired of eating. Even my children love it so much. 5 minutes after I plated, and I had it with a cup of fruit drink. It was so good. Tell me if you will try this recipe. I'll be looking out for your comments in the comment section, okay? Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so. It is absolutely free. Thanks for watching. Till my next video. God bless you. Bye.